morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon Total back again with Shogun 2, follow the semi scramble for the Far East, and we are going to be back with the Qing. Now, in the last episode, we basically did a lot of stuff. For example, taking out South Zhongji, and for once again, I'm going to be pronouncing these provinces 100% wrong. Yeah, we're going to be moving on South Joseon, and I'm once again pronouncing provinces' names wrong. In Japan, mainland Japan, we are going to be moving down to take some. In the past episode, we took care of the remaining faction, the Okayama, and we were discussing who do I invade. So, obviously, in the last episode, we kind of made peace with the United States because I don't want to really fight anyone, at least not right now. I'm not prepared to fight in a war, but I kind of regretted that decision the second I made peace with the United States because literally what is going on now is that I can technically invade the Dutch, but the British are going to be destroyed. I can technically invade the British, but the British are going to hate me, and the Dutch are going to hate me, and the French are going to hate me. And I can technically invade the United States, however they are literally blocked by a mile away. And the unfortunate thing for me is like invading the United States seems to be the only good option. Because invading the Dutch will just allow the United States to grow bigger. Invading the British will just kill one of my allies. And it's going to make the French unhappy and the Dutch unhappy because I technically broke a treaty. And we're going to wait a long time for that treaty not to go into effect. So technically, I'm going to finish off Korea. And the War of Korea is pretty long war. Not going to lie. Not that bloody, but it was just long. Straight outright long. And it's not that great. And so is the army in Japan. I technically have one army in Japan led by a general, but I have another army in Japan that has not been led by. That is about to be led by another general, which I'm gonna try to have him come by sea. At this point, I'm just trying to do public upgrades on my buildings and try for the best, essentially. As you can see, my fleet is carrying the two generals. It's gonna be moving down south. It's almost there. Almost there. The British wants me to declare war on Azisamuto, which I'm obviously gonna reject off the bat. And yes. So technically I can declare war on the United States, although I just signed a peace treaty with them. However, because the British, the Dutch, and I think the Dutch, pretty sure the French are definitely at war with the United States. From turn 1, they were at war with the United States. In turn 1, actually no, in turn 5, they took Mishima, which is basically like one of the big provinces right next to the United States. And the United States just instantly declared war on them and took it back. And now I think the United States and the French haven't signed their peace treaty yet. But anyway, now it's winter, and instead of waiting for reinforcements, I'm going to attack Busan. And that is the only name I know, Busan. And pretty famous for events in the Korean War, but we're not going to talk about that, are we? We're going to talk about how I'm going to take over Busan, and with it the rest of Korea. What is going on right now is basically, yeah, we're just firing rockets, moving troops up. This is the army. This is a very small army. I have a lot more artillery pieces than infantry units in general. But the enemy's not going to sally out like the last time, so that's great. So that's great. As you can see, these mortar rounds are reloading, and the second they fire, it's not that impressive, but I have to admit, it is pretty good looking. These Manchu Lancers are not gonna, Manchu Cavalry are not gonna do much. The most of the brunt of the fighting is gonna be left to this one unit, and literally have one unit against the enemy, 5 units. And as you can already tell, we need to do a lot of stuff with our mortars. The settlement is pretty much well, we haven't seen this settlement a lot, but it looks pretty interesting. Inner wall and the outer wall, and basically it's pretty cool in the sense that it's right next to a lake. And I say lake and not instead of ocean because last time I checked, which when I mean by check, I mean like going around and looking, it was lake. But yes, I think this is way too many spins for the liking. But we're gonna continue on, and speaking of rockets and mortars, we're just gonna be hitting the enemy with rockets and mortars. Literally. As you can see, most of the places are on fire, and for those that are not on fire, we're gonna hit them with mortars. And eventually, I'm just gonna send in my infantry. And that is pretty much the good things about that. At this point, the infantry is going to be coming forwards. And, yep, well, I'm having mortar teams opening fire. But they are getting fired by literally 5 guys, and we're just going to charge. Most of their shots are going to hit because we are so dang close. And at this point, I'm going to pretty much stop talking and let you guys watch the rest of the battle, because the rest of it is self-explanatory. Eventually, you guys will see one unit come to sally out against me, but that's that. There's nothing really much, and I come to find that most of my battles are self-explanatory, so yeah. So I'm just going to let you guys watch, and I'm going to be coming back the second something... Actually, no, the rest of the battle is basically an enemy unit sallies out onto the bridge, and they basically decides to charge straight at me. Spearmen, to be exact. The enemy spearman decides to charge at my swordman, and they absolutely got wrecked. And yeah, that's it for this siege. Not really interesting, but I'll let you guys watch the rest of it. And now with the battle over, we basically lost only 126, and we captured the entire garrison, well, captured and killed the entire garrison of 1,000. It was pretty interesting. The Joseon kingdom is finally destroyed. For those that are watching, yeah, I have nothing against Korean people. It's just because the only reason why I'm invading Korea in the first place is only because literally, to win the game, I literally have to invade Korea. It's nothing personal, not at all. That said, so that is said, especially for the rest of the factions. Nothing personal. Once again, I just want to win the game, essentially. I'm moving a lot of troops to this harbor right here, and I'm eventually going to be building a ship to set my troops onto the Japanese mainland. And after that, I have to pray for the best, because at this point, a lot of powers are pretty strong, I have to admit. The United Kingdom is probably the weakest. The United Kingdom and France, probably. Which is kind of funny, because the United Kingdom and France were probably the strongest. Currently right now, the United States, the Netherlands, and me are the strongest. And technically, once again, I told you about how I kind of did a terrible mistake in the sense that I should have literally declared war, continued my war, my bad, with the United States. But however, now I am getting some time to get some breathing space. The encyclopedia for this mod is not on, and as you guys can tell. But however, the good thing is that I've been here in the Discord, which is, by the way, in the link below. The link to the Discord for the Scramble for the Far East mod, or Total FOTS, is in the Discord right below. And basically, I've been hearing it takes a lot of time, and pretty much is not really useful. Unless for people like me, because I really want to do, like, eventually I'm planning to do, like, what do you call it, intros on every faction. And when I mean every faction, I mean every playable faction for a campaign, not multiplayer. If it's for multiplayer, there's a lot of factions. Although, that would be great. But anyway, but yes, that's why I would like physically an encyclopedia. But if it's too much work, I won't fit about that. I'd rather prefer a very good game, which is basically what is happening right now. Scramble for the Far East is a very good game. And for those who don't know, I recently asked out, and I asked the development team, and they said the next update is going to be coming on November 28th, which is pretty impressive. And to make it better, on this battlefield right now, our fleets have somewhat reached Japan, and now we are moving. I don't know where, but we are just going to be moving. This army, I actually don't know what to do with it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yeah. Don't know really what to do with this army, but I'll try my best. Elsewhere? Yeah, this general is probably going to just be a naval general. And that's that. Don't know what to, once again, don't know what to really do with that. Once again, most of this is British territory, and I need military access from the British, and I'm willing to give him the British the indefinite military access, because now I have full access to just run around, go towards the faction that I want to take care of, which are being at this point gobbled away by the United States of America, so that's going to be a problem. I have to move a lot quicker, and yes. I'm going to be taking care of some Japanese rebels for the British, not because I'm a very nice dude, but more because I just want land. And we're going to be helped a lot by with these rockets, mortars, and artillery pieces, which are going to be firing on in this distance. For my actual army itself, it's pretty massive compared to what armies I've been using in Japan, Korea. Most of it's pretty melee focused. I do have 1 or 2 cavalry units here and there. The army in Korea is mostly made up of cavalry units, so that's pretty interesting. Don't know what to really say. I have some chunk spearmen. I have some And for those who don't know, Chang is basically spear in Chinese. I have Dao, which is sword in sword units. I have a lot of these white banner sword units. And eventually, after the fires started, and we're just gonna go through the gates, and we're just gonna essentially kill everyone, if that is possible, which it is 100% is. As a matter of fact, I like how every time, okay, what I think funny about Shogun 2 and Total War itself is that every time you take a settlement, it appears that everyone dies, and even if you win, which is not accurate, because technically what should happen is some survivors leave. Which, yeah, that's that. But, can't really argue with that. The fort itself is pretty much made out of a pretty good fort, I have to admit. An outer wall and an inner wall. And, yeah, outer wall is pretty big, inner wall is pretty small, but it is definitely a good inner wall. With a lot of arrow towers, too. But, at this point, as I am speaking, we're gonna be doing our best to destroy the arrow towers. Which, once again, for those who've seen my videos, arrow towers are not arrow towers, they are machine gun nests. They're literally like, they're spewing out arrows. That is how terrifying arrow towers are. And you would think that Total War would fix that, but nope. They've done a pretty good job of increasing that, especially in Three Kingdoms. They've increased towers so much that, yeah, it's getting insane. Anyway, as speak, fire rockets, which had hit this place, are not gonna burn. And the second it burns too high, this place will explode, which just happened. And men are flying and dying. And after that, I can just move into the settlement. And, essentially take the entire settlement out. But yes. As you can see, my men are moving through this pretty good, interesting forest line, and they're gonna get fired upon. But yes, yes. This unit is gonna be scaling the walls. The other units are, one is going to go through the gate, the other are just gonna scale the walls. And at this point, yes, this is this. And yes, just reaching the gate is the problem, but the second we reach and start going to melee, it's gonna be game over for the enemies. The enemy decides to literally put guys literally in front of us the second we go for the gate, which means I literally have to charge at these guys. My men are somewhat tired now, but we still have a pretty good momentum. The enemy are firing at literally point-blank range, killing some guys left and right, but the second we get into melee, it's gonna be game over for them. As you can see, my guys are doing pretty well in melee. However, there is the second tier of the tower, which is the final tier also, and they are it's really pinning me down in the sense that I am getting shot. However, they're also, I'm pretty sure, I am more than sure that they're getting friendly fire, and the reason is simply because there is no way in the heck with 300-year-old muskets that you don't get any friendly fire at this range, and not to mention the fact that my men and the enemy men are so clumped up together. Heck, even for modern guns, and when I mean modern, I mean, what's the year again? Let me see. Let me check the year. Oh yeah, the year is 1861. Wait, no, the year is not 1861. The year is 1860. 1860 exact. Even for guns made in 1860, it's pretty hard not to get friendly fire, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, the first tier of the wall is pretty much cleared, and now we're just going through the second tier. And yes, our men have, at this point, have lost momentum, and the enemy are just gonna open fire on us. Not a good sight. And yeah, our guys are just trying to run through. and pray for the best. Our guys have gone through, and now after still being fired upon, our guys are going to charge on the backs of these levy units. This levy unit actually did pretty well, but we're going to do our best to take this levy unit out. At this point, it's pretty much just stuff, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. So I'll stop talking. On the other sides, I am having my men scale the walls, so that is that's that. And the second this unit breaks, we're just gonna continue on to the mortars, and after that, it's gonna be essentially game over for the enemy.
Victory is assured, sir.
And as you can see, we've taken settlement, and we've captured a mortar, which is insane now, and we have a lot more mortars and artillery pieces than literally... Yeah. The problem is that I really still don't know who to declare war on, because one... should I declare war on the United States, or should I declare war on the British? Although I'm pretty sure if I declare war, it's pretty much going to be on the United States. And the reason is simply because the United States is the most powerful, that's one. Number two, the British need our help, and since we are the allies of the British, we will help. Three, if the British make a recovery, and I'm pretty sure they will not, but if they make a recovery, I do not want the British to be taking land that I want to take. And for the endgame conditions, I also technically have to invade the United States. So it's a matter of time of when do I invade the United States. Might as well just invade the United States right now, or very soon. But I am trying to build a navy. Once again, I'm going to call it the Beiyang Fleet. And for those who don't know, the Beiyang Fleet was the fleet that the Chinese used. And, well, basically what happened was the Chinese tried to modernize, and Li Hongzhang, which is the Bismarck of China, decided to, well, Bismarck of the Qing to be exact, decided to, you know what, we need a modern fleet, and most of the Beiyang Fleet's instructors were sent abroad to study, and yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's that. The Beiyang Fleet, yeah. And most of the fleet was pretty much destroyed after the war against Japan, which was the first Sino-Japanese War. The Beiyang Fleet pretty much got destroyed. Although once again, you can argue that the Beiyang Fleet won the engagement at the Battle of Yalu River. You could technically say that they've won, but in terms of casualty-wise, they've pretty much lost. And the reason why people have been saying they've won the battle is pretty much because their goal was to help the transportation of troops to Korea. Which they've successfully protected the transports, but they basically lost their entire fleet. Or, well, a lot of their fleet. Okay, so basically what happened was that the rest of the fleet was pretty much destroyed. The French had declared war on Northern Alliance, and that's that. Yes. Outer Manchuria, what is going on in Mount Manchuria? Well, I'm just gonna make a lot of these places happy. That's what I really need. And I'm also trying to get my army, which has been victorious in Korea, onto the Japanese mainland, and yeah. Eventually, I'm actually debating whether I should get literally the ever victorious army, because it is technically the only modern army that I'll ever get if I play the Qing, which I am, and but I don't know should I even get it in the first place, because technically I can still just deploy those 1-unit man armies, well, 1 upkeep armies, and yeah, that's that. Don't know what to really do. As a matter of fact, during this time, I'm pretty unsure what I am doing. The only thing I figured out is I'm pretty sure I'm going to war with the United States. And that is pretty much that. Everything else I really don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure I also want a fleet. I'm pretty sure that I know what to do in order to complete this campaign. And yeah, that's that. Not thinking really much. However, you do see me moving units through British, well, about to move units through British held territory. And because at this point I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at war with the United States. 99% sure. Unless the British backstab me, which don't know what to say. But yeah. But that's that. Nothing really much else to do. Wow, that was quick. Setsu has just fallen, so that's a problem. And for those who don't know, Setsu is the capital of the British, and now we are definitely going to war with the United States. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.